Hello, my name is Teresita Blanco Plays Sister, and we're continuing with Time Princess. And let's just see if it does the sound test. Oh, yeah, looks like it's sliding. Are we live? Alright, now let's see my voice in comparison to the rest of the sound. Alright, that seems about right. Does it? Alright, moving along. We're doing the soft story, The King's Mystery. It's been 4 years since I arrived at the party for sight, and the weather has been dismal, and the rain over the past few days just stopped this morning. I sit by the window with a quill in my hand, and I've been writing in my diary while listening to the birds chirping. A month ago, Louis the 15 ascended the throne, and thus I became the queen. I am still not accustomed to my new status, and my actions now represent the Queen of France and not just myself. I am surrounded by many people every day, and I cannot afford to make any wrong moves. I sigh as I close my diary. It's time for breakfast, Your Majesty. All right, help me get changed. Unbelievable. A thousand will get easier when I am queen. And an unexpected way life to be like that of a small circus monkey, and there's so many people watching me all day. And to preserve royal dignity, I had to dress formally, even for a simple breakfast. The sound of conversation reached me before I entered the banquet hall, and I tried to perk up before entering. Louis is at the long dining table, and sunbeams shine through the French windows and lighting up his gentle brown eyes. He is silent, thoughtful, and a stark contrast to the rest of the diners who are busy chatting away. The queen is here. Louis looks up, and a servant pulls out a chair for me. I know I'm late for breakfast, so I hurry over to sit beside him. I apologize for my tardiness, Your Majesty. It's alright, I arrived just a short while ago before you. Let's eat. A servant approaches us to lay out the napkins for us, and breakfast at Versailles is sumptuous, but the rules are numerous. Dressed in a cumbersome dress, I try to look dignified by keeping my back straight, and the servant serves our exquisite cuisine, and I turn to see Louis fully consuming and enjoying his food. The diners continue chatting non-stop, and it feels awkward to be the only ones not talking. Why won't they stop looking at me, especially the woman in the corner smirking at one another? They must be mocking me because my husband won't even talk to me. If only Louise would help me get rid of this awkward atmosphere. I clear my throat, pretending to make casual conversation. The weather's great today, Your Majesty. Would you like to accompany me on a stroll on the garden after breakfast? I'm sorry, Marine. I have to attend a state conference after this, so I may not be able to keep you company. There he speaks. Ah! The two women behind me start whispering. Doesn't the Queen take note of His Majesty's schedule? Probably not. The King just refused her straight away. I'm embarrassed. I hadn't considered the possibility that he'll be busy with something. Afraid that he might get upset, I hastily pushed my bowl of soup towards him. I forgot you handle state affairs. You have state affairs to handle. The broth is great. You should try it. Louis looks at me surprised, and a sudden silence descends upon the crowd. What is it? Oh, look, she passed a half-eaten bowl of soup to His Majesty. How rude. It dawned upon me that I am behaving inappropriate, and my cheeks redden. Louis gives me a gentle smile, and he gestures for a servant to get me another bowl of broth. Since you like it, have more. That's not what I mean. I just wanted to share some tasty food with you like an ordinary couple. The process indeed is delicious. Thank you for your recommendation. Don't you have anything else to say? Which dishes do you like best? Louis looks confused and I swallow everything I wanted to say. Once again, Louis just doesn't respond to my attempts to get closer to him. There's not the slightest bit of French romance in him. He always treats me gently, but why won't he let me into his heart? Well, it's an arranged marriage, Queen Marie Antoinette. What do you expect? Your Majesty, please be careful. It's hot. The servant has returned with a new bowl of soup, and lost inside I reached for the bowl without taking heed of her warning. Ow! The bowl is hotter than I expected, and I drop and it shatters on the floor. Louis hurries over to me and he takes my hand to look at my palm, and my hand looks exceptionally small in his, and an angry red mark has appeared on my skin. That must hurt. I'll call for a doctor. I'm fine. It only hurts a little. Go get the queen some mice and clear away the mess. There's a fuss in the banquet hall, and some other servants start cleaning away the shards in the spilled soup, and someone else starts icing my hand. I can clearly hear mocking laughter amid the chaos, and truly an Austrian woman, clumsy and rude. I look in the direction of the laughter to see a haughty noblewoman speaking. How unfortunate it is for His Majesty to marry a woman like that. I prop my hand on my chin as I gaze at the gossiping woman. The women of France do love to gossip. I wonder why. Is it because they have an extra tongue? You. Stop arguing. It's almost time for the state conference and we need to finish the meal. The noblewoman looked mortified, but they finally back off, and I feel utterly discouraged despite the reduced tension in the atmosphere. When people ridicule his wife, Louis only gives them a mild rebuke. I'm surrounded by brazen judgment, whispering gossip, and Louis indifference. It all feels so suffocating, just like the tight corset that I'm wearing. I actually thought he'll stand up for me. How foolish of me. I remain silent for the rest of the meal, and the food seems tasteless now. When Louis finally puts down his fork and knife, I am relieved, and I force myself to give him a polite smile and watch as the servant escort him from the hall. When will our relationship finally improve? Dude, if it hasn't gotten better after 4 years. I hope that one day he'll be willing to spare me some of his attention. The roses in the garden are already beautiful, and a light breeze carries a lovely fragrance through the air. It's a pity I'm enjoying such a wonderful scene by myself. I sit on a bench behind the fountain, mesmerized by the roses, and the sound of the footsteps awakens me from a daze. It is so awkward back in the banquet hall. Are the king and queen like that in private as well, and they don't behave like a couple at all? I'll be upset if my husband were so aloof with me and His Majesty is so unromantic. Who said His Majesty is unromantic? He probably is just not interested in the queen. You mean the king is courting another woman? Oh, believe me, our king is as amorous as his grandfather. Their voices grow softer, and I strain to hear what they're saying. What do they mean? The old king loved women, and you would always find beautiful women in Versailles when he was alive. Like the old king, he had a queen and his harem, a la Ottoman Turkish style. You haven't forgotten about Madame du Barry, have you? And she was driven away from the court not so long ago. And does our king have a mistress as well? My mind goes blank in shock. Heavens, why must I hear something like this? My husband ignored me and he keeps a mistress. The two noblewomen continue gossiping about the king. What is so shocking about that? It's normal for the royals to have affairs. His Majesty rejects the queen all the time. It's probably because he has a mistress. And the queen looks so dispassionate, and it will be easy for another woman to tempt the king. Does the queen know? I'm not sure about that, but I'm certain the marriage is loveless, as most arranged marriages usually are. You're just guessing. There will be trouble if the queen hears this. No, I saw something with my own eyes. His Majesty went to a house on the Rue du Framboise in Honore, and a golden-haired beauty answered the door. And they talk and laugh as if they enter the house like a pair of lovers. In contrast, he's always so cold towards the queen. My heart sings as I imagine the scene with the king and the beautiful golden-haired beauty. I always thought King Louis wasn't the type to fool around. Now I know he can be gentle and charming towards women. And what does he think he's doing to me and my reputation? And so I'm gonna feel like confronting him right away, but then I realize I don't have the right to question him. Our marriage was simply a political arrangement between Austria and France. And maybe he's in love with a woman. My thoughts are a mess and I turn and leave the garden quickly. There are people walking around Versailles every day, but somehow I'm the only person on the garden path today. I walk quickly and my heels go clink clank on the beautiful tile path. And the sun annoys me, but I can't help thinking about the conversation on her. Louis might not treat me lovingly, but he's always been a gentleman, and he has no need to act so dishonorably. Perhaps the noble woman was merely lying. If Louis were to have a golden-haired lover, she would be staying in the palace by now. And why would she be staying outside the palace and on a narrow street too? I start looking for excuses to try to defend Louis, but I end up feeling worse instead. Frustrated, I start walking and look up to the heaven, but I can only see the elaborate car roof and the sky is hidden from view. Oh Lord in heaven, why must I go through with this? Madame de now enters the room with her head held high, and she looks just as prim and proper as usual. I'm already in a bad mood, so the sight of Madame de Na's stern face gives me a headache. It's still early afternoon, Madame de Na. It is not time for those boring church lessons yet, am I right? Please leave me alone. I wish to rest for a while. Madame de Na folds her hands to reveal a letter, and her curves are always perfect, and her back is completely straight, and only her knees bend. This sight always feels strange to me, and I can wonder if she'll lose her balance one day. But she does not fall onto my plate as of the pastries like I imagined. Instead, she presents to me yet another thing I dislike. This time it's a letter from Austria, which she places next to my pastry. I think you can spare some time to take a look at this letter from Austria, Your Majesty. I pick up the letter. It has an Austrian seal on it. I think you must have picked this timing on purpose to vex me, madame. Madame Dena's expression does not change. She curses calmly and turns to leave. And at the door, she suddenly turns around. I heard that you did something inappropriate again at the breakfast this morning, Your Majesty. To prevent more gossip, you need to spend more time studying French dining etiquette this afternoon. Studying French dining etiquette, and she says it so lightly. It's going to be yet another incredibly boring lesson. Madame Denal finally leaves, and I'm alone in my room. And I can relax now and start keeping my back ramrod straight, and I kick off my shoes and hug my legs. The letter's still in my hand, but I don't feel like reading it. I've been in France for 4 years now, and all of the letters from Austria have been very similar to one another. I'm burying my face against my knees, and there's a strong smell of ink from the letter in my hand. Has mother written a lot this time, and why hasn't the smell dissipated by now? I really hope it's not the same kind of content again. Dear Marie, how have you been? It pains me to hear that Louis is freezing, but I'm worried about the nasty rumors spreading regarding you that are spreading to Austria. Please remember that everything you do represents the country, and I know that it must be hard for you to get used to life over there, but I hope that you will do your best to learn to be a good queen. And also plan your time wisely and try to spend more time with Louis. Capture his heart and fulfill your responsibilities as queen. And remember that whatever you do represents Austria as well as France. In layman's terms, go sire a prince, my daughter. I am sorry, mother. I'm afraid I've disappointed you. Your daughter is incapable of charming the King of France. I folded the letter and set it aside. That noble woman was right. The royals have been having affairs for the past century. And even if I don't like it, I can't do anything about it, can I? I curl on the couch and sunlight shines through the windows and falls on me, but I can't feel any warmth at all. It's icy cold throughout this grand and opulent palace. Your Majesty, Madame Gabrielle wishes to invite you for a stroll in the garden. Ah, the things that people did for fun back then. We watch movies in TV and their idea of excitement, oh, let's just walk around the garden to wait to see something to happen. Maybe we'll see a butterfly. It's been a few days since I overheard another woman's conversation in the garden, but it's all I can think of every day. Suspicion has taken root in my heart and I have been observing Luis's words and actions. I can't go on like this. I should take a walk with Gabriel to find some respite. Perhaps pick out a brightly colored gown for me, Madame Denal. Hopefully this dress will make me look more cheery. Good day, Your Majesty. There's no need to be so formal with me, Gabriel. Gabriel straightened up with a tender smile. And what have you been busy with, lady? I have not seen you for a few days, Your Majesty. Gabriel tells me about the latest happenings as we stroll to the garden. I frown when she says that Luis has gone hunting with his friends today. Luis used to inform me whenever he goes hunting, and why hasn't he said anything this time? I have an unsettling feeling about this hunting trip. Oh, the roses are blown, and what a beautiful garden. It makes me think of the Garden of Eden. And we wandered into the rose garden while chatting, and I'm reminded of a conversation I overheard. Oh, Lord, please save me. I'm so frustrated. What's wrong, Your Majesty? Gabriel takes my hands in her and gazes at me with concern. You've been frowning a lot. Is something troubling you? If you need me, I'm always here for you. I sigh and wonder if I should tell her. After a brief internal struggle, I decide to tell her everything. Gabrielle, what should I do if Luis has a mistress? What? She covers her mouth in shock. Oh. I've taken her to a corner of the garden and tell her what I heard. And Gabrielle paces back and forth, watching her makes me dizzy. Oh, heavens, heavens. Oh, please stop pacing, Gabrielle. And I tug at her hand and she finally calms down and her hand is still trembling. Are you sure of what you heard, Your Majesty? They even know where his mistress stays. And maybe everyone knows about it. Everyone in Versailles, perhaps everyone in all of France, and only me, the outsider from Nassau, knows nothing. Please don't say that, Your Majesty. This is just a baseless rumor. Gabrielle takes my hand and distress is evident on her face. And maybe we can investigate the truth ourselves. You mean? We should investigate, Your Majesty, and then we'll find out the truth. Yes, investigate. This tradition among psycho jealous wives. Yeah, but I have to see that golden hair beauty with my own eyes. And what if it's just a bunch of lies? I don't want to worry over nothing. I support you, Your Majesty. Thank you, Gabrielle. Oh, heavens, I can't believe this. Have I gone crazy? I'm investigating Louis, the King of France. Then I probably got mad as well, Your Majesty, because I suggested it. We share a smile and then start making plans. The mystery resides outside the palace, so we should begin by checking Louis's schedule. I can't ask him directly because I would arouse suspicion. We can ask the servants first, and maybe you can disguise yourself as a servant, and that way you can observe the king's movements, Your Majesty. Gabriel and I decide to question Louis' servants. The king's attendant should know where he goes, even if he leaves the palace. Wait, Gabriel, I'm a little nervous. How do I ask them? Gabriel passed my arm to comfort me. Just do what we practice. I take several deep breaths to calm myself, and eventually I see a familiar servant in the hallway. I try to act natural as I approach the servant. Are you the king's attendant? I your servant, Your Majesty. I heard that His Majesty encountered some rude civilians a few weeks ago when he left the palace. Were you with him? He shakes his head, clearly unaware. I haven't heard anything about that. His Majesty the King hasn't given any orders regarding my excursions lately. Perhaps you should try asking the maids instead. The noble woman said she saw Louis outside the palace a few weeks ago. Perhaps the servants really don't know anything. And Gabriel and I look for a chance to ask someone else, and finally we bump into a maid in the stairs. Rude people harassing the king. You mean the king really left the palace? The king always goes out the day before mass, but I didn't hear anything about rude civilians. And my heart is hammering against my chest. Nervously, I tried probing the maid further. Do you know what the king did outside? The maid gives me a strange look, and she must be wondering why I'm asking so many questions. I'm not sure. His Majesty hasn't mentioned anything. Gabriel looks at me worried after the maid leaves. The king leaves the palace every week. Does that mean he has a mistress? I write my hands and the anxiety is overwhelming. Gabriel, what do I do? Don't worry, Your Majesty. I'm with you every step of the way. Gabriel may look aesthetic as a daughter, but she's my greatest supporter whenever I'm having a hard time. And there's a sliver of comfort in Gabriel's warm embrace, but my anxiety refuses to go away. Louis, what on earth are you doing? The day before Mass, a servant tells me that Gabriel is waiting for me in the drawing room. Gabriel is sitting on a chair and I ask the servants to leave the room. I found an excuse to get Madame Denard to leave me alone, and she will be kept busy all day, and she won't be able to follow us. And when do we start? Gabriel takes out a finely crafted bag and opens it. Wait, were you planning to observe the king while dressed in a royal attire? Gabriel pulls out a servant's outfit from the bag. And please change into this, Your Majesty. I get you, and Gabriel checks my appearance and then nods with a satisfaction. Very good, Your Majesty. No one will be able to recognize you. Gabriel is going to station me outside Louis' study and will pretend that the Queen ordered it. And this way I'll be able to observe what he does today. We reach the door of the study and a servant is about to enter the study with a tray. I'll go lure her away and you can take her place. I duck my head to hide in a corner under the stair and Gabriel walks ahead and the servant curses to her. I'm lost. Will you take me to the Queen's drawing room? It will be my honor to do so. Please follow me, my lady. Gabriel gestures to me when the servant isn't looking, and the servant places a tray on the windowsill and then leaves with Gabriel. I check to make sure that no one else is around, and then I pick up the tray and stand outside the study. Inside the room of study, Luis is discussing matter with Blaisdell, and I can only hear muffled sounds through the heavy door. It's too soft, and I can't tell what they're saying. I give a try to eavesdrop and start looking around me in boredom, and my hands are starting to ache from holding the tray. This is too heavy. I should set it down first. I place the tray back on the windowsill and continue standing outside the study. I guess I've been too tense lately, and that's probably why I nodded off without realizing. Time to wake up, Sleeping Beauty. Someone is grasping me by the shoulders and shaking me awake, and I'm terribly annoyed. What insolence! I open my eyes and see Blaisdell's face, and my mind is still groggy from sleep. It's most ungentlemanly to disturb someone when they are sleeping, Monsieur Blaisdell. His face takes an unfathomable expression, and he lets me go and takes a step back. You're right, that was rather ill-mannered of me. And I wonder if you'd be so kind as to give me a chance to apologize. I suddenly recall that I'm supposed to be a servant, and I've been incredibly rude towards the king's trusted minister. Whoops. Nervously chewing on my lip, I bow my head apologetically. I was in the wrong, and I beg your forgiveness for being so disrespectful, and is there anything I can do for you? Blasio stares at me wordlessly, and I am panicked on the inside, but I struggle to keep my face calm, and I just want to get away as quickly as possible. I'd like to have some tea and a little thirsty from the discussion with the king. And I frantically nod my head and pick up the tray. Yes, my lord, please wait, and I shall go brew some tea. And I turn away, and Blasio's intense gaze is stressful. And Blasio reaches out to block my way, and he taps the tray with a finger. Wait, isn't that pot filled with tea? The crystal pot is filled with dark liquid, and I decide to lie. This has already gone cold, and I'll go brew another pot. Blasio withdraws his hand, and I guess I'm free to go, and I walk away, but after several steps, I see someone following me. Are you going somewhere, my lord? If I remember correctly, there's an art gallery somewhere in Versailles, am I right? and I want to check the collection is safe. Collection? I didn't hear any news about missing items. Is there a thief in besides? Blaster nods sternly. I suspect that the statue of Freya has been stolen. From falcon feathers flying overhead, choosing warriors among the dead. Impossible, there's no such statue in Versailles. Across the ring, isn't it right here? Blaster points at me, and there's a mischievous look on his face, and I fly into a rage, and forgetting my disguise again, I slap his hand away. Monsieur Blaster, I am not someone you can mock, and don't talk to me like that. And don't you know who I am? Who are you? I remember I'm supposed to be a servant, and if I was here, these ladies would laugh at me again. I know. Blaster looks like he has just had an astounding realization, and his attitude changes. You must be the queen. An alarm bell sounds in my head, and I back away hurriedly, ready to flee. Oh no, I behave terribly. No servant would ever act like this. I should run. If there's any gossip, I'll just have to deny the rumors. I mean, you're the queen's servant, right? I come to a sudden stop, and I lift my head to look at Blaster's face, and I think he must be teasing me deliberately. But why would the queen's servant be waiting outside the king's study? I lower my head and I keep quiet, and I decide to ignore him. Oh, I get it. The queen wants to see the king. Am I right? Yes, that's right. And may I go see the king now? I haven't finished carrying out the queen's order. The queen has never been so concerned about the king before, and did she hear something that's making her suspect the king has had a change of heart? Blaster has hit the nail on the head, and I can only quell my anger, and this man is such a busybody. I just hope the queen can take it on her stride, and it's pretty normal for a king to have mistress, and the previous kings were the same. Enough! I interrupt him and curse stiffly. You just say you're thirsty, my lord, and perhaps you should stop talking now. I'll go brew you some tea, and please wait. This time Blaster doesn't follow me, and I manage to leave Louis' study behind, and Blaster's words are infuriating, but I know he's right, and that makes me even angrier. And I brew the tea in rage, and when I return to the corridor, I notice that Blaster is gone. Is he discussing matters with the king again? And at least I don't have to struggle to keep up pretenses. I carefully crack open the door to study and peer inside, and there's no one in the study. Louis isn't in the study. Oh no, our plan is going to fail. I must tell Gabriel the news. This is bad, Gabriel. Luis is gone. I searched the area around the study, but I couldn't find him. And I returned to the meeting spot Gabriel and I had agreed upon. Oh heavens, I finally found you, Your Majesty. Gabriel rushes towards me and grabs my hand in a panic. I wanted to tell you that I saw the king leaving the palace in a carriage, but you were nowhere to be found. And I'll tell her how Blaster made fun of me. Do you think he was hinting at something? There's no time to think about it. We have to catch up with the king to get to the bottom of things. I already prepared the carriage, and if we dawdle further, we won't be able to catch up. You're right, Gabriel. Let's get in the carriage. I press up against the window while clutching my seat, and unable to suppress my anxiety, I call out the driver to go faster. We'll be able to catch up as long as we do follow this road, Your Majesty. Don't worry. May the Lord bless us. And Gabriel draws the curtain and takes out a simple dress. You draw too much attention on the street with your current attire, Your Majesty, and why don't you change into this? Compared to the palace made of, this outfit is certainly more inconspicuous and better suited for telling someone, if you say so. You always think of everything, Gabriel. The king's carriage is just ahead of us, Your Majesty. I look out the window and I realize that we arrived at the Paris market, and the market is crowded and Louis' carriage is forced to slow down. Follow him quietly and don't lose him. Oh, how do you follow someone quietly on a carriage or drawn by horses? I don't know, this doesn't seem like a good stealth vehicle. His carriage comes to an abrupt stop by the road outside the theater. A theater. Is Luis going to watch a show with his mistress? I remember him getting bored when we watched a show together, and I feel with chagrin. So he's only happy when he's with his mistress. I'm going to take a look. Wait for me in the carriage, Gabriel. Yes, Your Majesty. Please be careful. And not before alighting, and then I look for Luis in the car and quietly tell him. Luis doesn't go into the theater. He turns around the corner into an alley and I hurry after him. I had expected to see a residential area, but I found myself standing in front of a large bookstore instead. The man bookstore. Is he here to buy books? Is it all a misunderstanding? Luis lifts his head and looks around, startled or hide in a corner. Has he discovered my presence? I casually speak in his direction and he's entering the bookstore. I guess I'm going too. Upon entering a spot, Louis immediately is browsing the shelves, and I maintain a distance of 2 bookshelves between us, carefully watching him through the gaps. He's been engrossed in the book for over 10 minutes now. What kind of book is it? My curiosity is aroused, and should I try to sneak a peek. Louis is focusing all his attention to the book. It won't hurt to go nearer. Besides, Mother told me to find out what he likes too. I present myself with his excuses as I step lightly behind Louis and peep over his shoulder. Feeding lock cylinder, and I can't see what it says on the back. Trying to get a clearer view, I move a little too close to him and my face bumps into his shoulder. Louis freezes and he tries to turn around, but I stop him in a panic by pushing him against his back. I keep my head low and apologize in a harsh voice. I'm sorry to have disturbed you. That's alright. Are you interested in this book, madame? He holds up a book that he's been reading to show me the cover, and I raise my hand to glance at the book very quickly before lowering my head. The cover has the word locks on it. Oh no, I'm not. I'm sorry for disturbing you. And I step back hastily and flee the area, and the customers glare at me in annoyance. I hurry out of the bookstore and hide in a corner. Lucky for me, Luis doesn't come after me. That was too reckless of me. I need to keep a cool head. Fortunately, I can see the bookstore clearly from here, so it's easy for me to check on Luis. What is he doing? Luis hands something over to the store who wraps it as a gift. Is he getting a gift for his mistress? The store owner cheerfully waves goodbye to Luis when he leaves. They seem rather familiar with one another, and I guess Luis frequents this place. Eyes twinkling and looking more relaxed than ever, Luis ventures deeper into the alley. I've never seen that expression on his face before, and he must be looking forward to seeing her. Luis was down a narrow, winding alley, and I followed behind at a safe distance. The sunlight shines down upon Luis' hair, and it sparkles with every light-hearted step. If only he could be this jovial in the palace, and he's always so dismissive towards me. What kind of a person is this mystery lover? And he's so charmed by her. All this has simply messed up my feelings even further, and Luis suddenly comes to a stop, cut a car, and I hurry duck into a corner by the wall. And he's standing in front of a house deep in the alley, and it's a crude building, and even the door knocker is covered in rust. Luis doesn't even care. He knocks on the door. After knocking, he places his hand on the gift he's been carrying. He's so excited about his fingers are trembling. I'm anxiously clutching my sleeve, and I feel as though I'm about to open a Pandora's box. And my eyes are glued to the door. Am I about to find out something good or bad? And let me see the truth. Flowing golden trances come into view, and the door opens and a beautiful woman with an hourglass figure steps out, and her golden hair is simply dazzling in the sunlight. My goodness! And when I heard the door knocking, I knew it had to be you again. I'm sorry to disturb you. Louis' alluring lover enthusiastically welcomed him into the house, and the door shuts, and I can hear her laughing merrily. So it's true. Shocked, I come out of my hiding. No, I must question Louis and get to the bottom of this. As I approach the rusty door, I find that I feel no rage but a different kind of feeling. All the worry and anxiety have merged into disappointment, and my hand freezes in midair, and I'm not sure what to do. Pain was up in me as I stand before the door. No wonder Luis doesn't like me. That's the kind of woman he likes. And I tried putting on a gracious smile on my face, like how mother used to do whenever she heard about father's philandering ways. To care so much yet having to pretend not to care is too hard. I really wish I could ask mother how she managed to get through all of those years. I let out a heavy sigh and then leave the place. And I walked gently out of the alley without caring where I'm going, and after a while I noticed a music drifting in the wind. And apparently I wandered to the Siena, and there's an old-fashioned bridge suspended across the sparkly river. And a banker is sitting on a bridge calmly playing a violin. Madame, what would you like to listen to? It's just one super song. The bush girl puts down his violin and advertises his service with a merry smile. Oh, what a beautiful lady. For you, just a library would do. And I shake my head to decline, but his words seem to have touched a chord in me. Don't be in such a hurry to turn me down. I have a tune that really suits you. The violin sings of envy, resentment, sorrow, and anger. It is as if a mysterious voice has encapsulated all of my feelings in music. And as the last note fades into the air, I can't help clapping with appreciation. What a wonderful melody. May I ask who composed this? I wrote it myself. Not bad, right? It's lovely. And you should go to the City of Music in Austria, and I'm sure they'll love to have someone as talented as you. Aha, thanks for the compliment. I nod, recalling his feet. I dig into my pockets, but I don't even have a dime, much less a livre. And I meet his gaze hourly. I didn't bring any money. I guess that from the start, and you don't usually come here, do you? And you don't seem to be fitting at all. The busker shrugs casually, and he doesn't seem to care the slightest bit. You can treat the tune as a gift from me to you. And he raises the violin to his shoulder and produces a string of happy notes to bid me goodbye. You're Madame? Gabriel's calling out to me, and she waves at me from the crowd and makes her way towards me. We get back into the car, and Gabriel takes my hand and talks to me gently. You were gone for so long, Your Majesty, and have you found out anything? I don't know where to begin, so I merely shake my head and sigh. We're friends, aren't we? Friends support one another, so please let me help you. You can confide in me. Gabriel is looking at me worried and unable to hold in any longer. I'll tell her about what I saw in the alley. Everything the woman said is true, Gabriel. You mean that sultry woman is the king's mistress? I saw them myself, and they must be close considering how familiar they are with each other. Gabriel's hands are balled into fists, and her cheeks red with anger. That's terrible. How could the king do such a thing? Has he even considered your feelings? I watched the bustling microphone inside the carriage, and the shouting of the vendors adds life to the city. And here I am, doomed to a life of dull repetition, slowly withering away. You and me both. You shouldn't put up with this, Your Majesty. And watching Gabriel's rage on my behalf makes me feel as though we're rather alike. Your family has made you suffer a lot too. Gabriel looks away, but she can't hide the sorrow in her voice. I can't change my life, there's nothing I can do. But things are different for you, Your Majesty. You still have a chance. You don't have to live the same kind of life. She takes my hand, and her eyes shine earnestly as though she's trying to give all her encouragement to me. Touch, I interlace my fingers with hers and squeeze back. You're right, I don't want to live such a life. I should confront Luis about his act. I will demand an explanation from him. I'll go with you. What makes such a scene? The types of scene you see in Jerry Springer. In high spirits, I decided to bring Gabriel along to that shady house for the confrontation. We'll better bring someone else along, and if anything happens, he can protect us, and will look more imposing too. There's only the coachman, and I'll speak to him. Gabriel leaves the carriage while I think about how to question Luis later. I can't wear this dress to confront him. It's not striking at all. I should change it to something imposing and elegant to see him. Yeah. You gotta look your best whenever you're gonna make a scene. Don't make such a scene. You cheating bastard. You had no respect for our arranged political marriage. I just my accessories and partially shield my face with a feather fan, and I'm not pleased with myself. Gabriela is surprised when she returns to the carriage. Your Majesty, you look absolutely stunning like a rose atop of the mountains. Is this it? The place is so bare, and I can believe the king lets his mistress stay here. She looks around curiously and apparently feeling the same disbelief I did when faced with the rusty door. Perhaps this is deliberate so that nobody will see that she stays here. Go ahead, knock. The coachman steps forward and bangs on the door, and my heart seems to thump along with the banging and I choke my anxiety. Breathe, Your Majesty. I can hear your heart racing. I'll take a few deep breaths to calm myself. I'm just a little agitated. It's my first time doing something like this. Of course, I hope it's the last time too that I gotta make a scene. The door suddenly opens and a plainly dressed woman appears, and she seems to be a maid. Oh, can I help you with something? This is not the person I saw. Did I get it wrong? Is there a golden-haired lady living here, and we wish to pay her a visit? The surprised colors of the maid's face as she looks at us. That is indeed our madame, and have you arranged to meet her today? Of course I hadn't, and it'll arrange for a meeting. I wouldn't be in a situation right now. The maid seems to realize something is fishy when we can't explain herself, and she tries to shut the door on us. I'm sorry, madame did not inform me of any guests, and I cannot let you in. Please leave. The customer reaches out to block her, and Gabriel gently explains that in our hurry we have forgotten to contact her madame in advance. The maid seems a little afraid of the strong coachman, and she looks at us doubtfully. May I know how to address you? I have to check with our madame first. Madame Louise. Tell her Louise and Camille are here to see her. Why don't you visit another day, Madame Louise and Madame Camille? We have an important guest, and Madame standing to him in the drawing room. I pick up. I didn't get the location wrong. After all, Louis is there with his mistress right now. Does the guest have brown eyes and wears a beige coat? And he brought a gift too, and a bag is from Delman's bookstore. The maid's eyes widen and she nods. Indeed. We are acquainted with your madame's guest. Our relationship is special. I step forward, tapping her shoulder lightly with my fan. Now, can you bring me to him? Please wait and let me inform Madame first. The maid insists on having us wait where we are, and her eyes dart around suspiciously. Is she thinking of tipping them off? I won't be able to catch them if she warns them. Don't worry, we'll know each other for a long time. Your guest won't mind. I try to push myself in while she's not paying attention. I must get in there before she alerts them. The maid is quick to react, stopping me in my tracks. Madame, please. Barging into someone else's home is most unladylike. And I start feeling wrong, and the whole world seems to be helping Louise, and only Gabriel supports me. Gabriel stands in front of me. Miss, do you know who you are stopping? Do you realize that you're helping someone tear apart another family? The maid backs away, startled by Gabriel's word. Right, you do look extremely anxious. I think you may have misunderstood something, but I'll bring you to the madame. They are in the drawing room, and please come with me. This is the drawing room. I flick a glance at Gabriel and the coachman, and he agrees. As agreed, he puts on a furious expression on his face, and I square my shoulders and try to look as imposing as I can. And the door opens and Louis comes into view. Marie! The smile on his face freezes when I see what's in the room, and I freeze as well. What's going on? Good, I made a scene. An array of exquisite lots are laid out on the tea table, and each with their matching key. And I steal a glance at Louis, who's sitting beside me. He's completely focused on the lot and looks like he's scrutinizing the difference between them. Heavens, how did we arrive at such a misunderstanding? And I begin to question why I'm sitting here. And I rush to catch him for infidelity, and now I'm drinking tea beside him. Please try this pastry, madam. It's one of my best dishes. And a fair, slender hand pushes the sweet treats to me, and my eyes follow the hand up to its owner. Ma? Ah. All right. I lift the tea up and take a sip to cover up my embarrassment. The hours seen early on keeps coming to my mind as I gaze at the beautiful woman. I had expected to see Luis and his mistress behaving intimately manner when the door opened. But when I saw was another man in the room, apart from the surprised Luis and the golden-haired woman. Gabriel and the coachmen who were right on my heels were also startled by the sight. Marie, why are you here? This is... Luis respectfully answered the middle-aged man's question. This is my wife Marie. Marie meet Master German. Master German is our country's most greatest coppersmith. Ma? He's a genius at catching all of the elaborate locks. So my mom started vacuuming. Making noise. Looking at Luis, barely concealing something, I begin to wonder if I'm wrong. Luis hasn't been going out of the weekly to see his meter. He's been. And this is Master German's wife, Madame Greta. And Luis points to the golden-haired woman next to German. But he's Master German's wife. Well, there's no guarantee that he's not, whatever. I mean, honestly, with someone else's wife or with the husband's approval because he needed money, whatever. I exchanged those with Gabriel and we made a fool of ourselves. And Luis is baffled by a reaction and I smiled awkwardly. So you've been leaving the palace every week to visit Master German, and I thought, yes, I'd like to discuss last meet with Master German. And Luis leans toward me and lowers his voice to a whisper. I hid my identity because I hope to employ Master German and let him stay in Versailles. Unfortunately, he has refused, and I've been coming here every week to show my sincerity. His breath tickles my ear and making me feel all soft and fuzzy, and I turn my head away subconsciously rubbing my ear. It's a terrible misunderstanding, and I just can't look at Luis in the eye. I must find a chance to leave as soon as possible. Oh, good, we made a scene. I suppose I should not further intrude any further, and we shall take our leave now. Why don't you stay a little longer, madame, and you come out this way after all? Madame Greta urges me to stay, but I shake my head and express my apologies to German and his wife. And a hand grasps my wrist, and I brush past Luis. Ah, my palm is warm, but I feel as though I've been scorched by fire. Luis? Confused, I look at Luis, but he won't meet my gaze, and he hesitates for a moment. Will you stay? My heart leaps and my mind goes blank, and he finally looks at me as he tries to explain. Master German is an incredible locksmith, and if you like, if you're interested, let go of me first. Luis releases me and backs away, and he's clearly disappointed. Let me send Gabriela first and wait for me. I grab Gabriela's hand and drag her with me as I flee from the room. Outside the drawing room, Gabriela and I exchanged a smile. Well, that was so awkward, but at least it didn't turn out the way we thought, and that was great, isn't it? I nodded in agreement, and a heavy weight has been lifted from my shoulder. We'll leave first, then. After Gabriela has left with the coachman, I return to the drawing room entrance. Taking a deep breath, I push the door open, and I chance upon a conversation. Your wife is a really poised and beautiful and poised, and I've never seen such an elegant lady before. Thank you for compliment, and she's indeed an outstanding woman. But I get the feeling that you two aren't very close. A sudden hush falls over the drawing room, and a moment passes before Madame Greta's apologetic voice breaks silence. I'm sorry, I said too much. Well, I haven't said enough. You're not wrong. The heaviness in Louis' voice reminds me of a dusty ancient clock. And I often think I'm blessed to have married someone like her, and when I see her trying so hard to get close to me, and I want to reach out and hug her, but so hard I always fail to reach out to her, and I keep disappointing her. You did well now, and the things take time. And don't be defeated by shame, and be brave and tell her how you feel. The topic changes after a while, and I stand outside the drawing room with my hand pressed against my heart. And sunlight pours to her, bathing Louis in gold, and my heart is fluttering like crazy. Should I confess to him? When it became clear that the mistress issue was all a misunderstanding, I was so embarrassed that I wanted to leave, and Louis made me stay, however. And I sat by his side and watched him fade earnestly with a very cheap object in his hand. If Master Gamma hadn't explained it well, I wouldn't have been able to tell it's a lock at all. And would you like to try unlocking it, sir? And his eyes light up and he pulls up his sleeve, and I know he only does that when he's very earnest about something. Is this lock very difficult to open? Louis smiles and shakes his head. He points at a bunch of keys next to the lock. These keys might be the wrong ones, but they might be the right ones, but they might also be the wrong ones. And what do you mean? Before he can explain, Master Garman speaks. This lock is one of the very best. It won't be easily opened. And why don't you tie him, madame? And if he insists 15 minutes, he loses the challenge. That sounds fun. I always like games that involve some sort of betting, so maybe that's why I like the idea so much. And I take out my pocket watch and show the time to Louise. Let's start now. Wait, what? I'm not ready yet. Louise actually grabs the keys and tools. I pick up my cup of tea and secretly observe him over the rim of the cup. And Louis seems at peace when he's focusing on the art, and he looks the way he does when he's working in his study. However, I can't help but sense a marked difference. By now, he's like a child who has just received a new and exciting toy, and he seems rather naive and adorable. And there's a clear clicking sound in the relatively quiet room. Louis holds up the open lock and looks at me with glee. I've unlocked it, Marie. How long did I take? Ah, yes, let's see. I quickly set down the cup and check the pocket watch. 14 minutes, you win. He shyly places the lock in my hand and then continues chatting with Master Garma. And the unlocked bird's wings are spread open, and I trace the intricate details with my finger, feeling warm and cozy inside. The horses will stride the cobblestone with a crisp, clip-clopping sound, and Lois just examining the bird-shaped lock that Master Garma has lent him. You really love these locks? Do you like uncovering secrets? Locks are like enticing secrets when they're locked. Their mystery can only be solved with the correct keys, and I'm very partial to the process of solving locks. Louis raises the bird-shaped lock in the air, and it looks like it might come to life at any moment. Look at this bird. It can only spread its wings and fly when it's unlocked. And Master Gemma enjoys crafting locks like this, and that's why I admire him so much. One day I'll crack a lock that only I can open. And Louis' eyes seem to shine when he talks about locks, and perhaps it's just a reflection of the light from the street lamp. And in a momentarily touched by the enthusiasm in his eyes. And why are you staring at me? I may have been looking at him too intensely, and Louis' ears turned red. Oh yes, Marie, how did you manage to find Master Garma? Ah yes, well, Louis' question has put me in spot, and I don't know if I should be honest with him. Tell the truth. I admit I was following you. I overheard some noble woman gossiping in the garden about you having a mistress. What? Let me explain. I always thought that you're not interested in me. I voiced Louis' case, and I changed my voice faltered. I was really upset, so I decided to follow you to catch you in the act. Mistress, do you think Madame Greta is mine? I wish I should clap a hand over Louis' mouth, and it's so embarrassing to hear him say those things. But it's too late. I close my eyes and wait for him to rage at me. It's not that I'm not interested in you, and I knew I had betrothed even before I met you. And she's a young lady as beautiful as a rose, and I want to share many things with you, but I get tongue-tied when I see you. I slowly open my eyes, and Louis is blushing. It's clear that it wasn't easy for him to say those words. His hands tugged nervously at his pants. Don't keep them all to yourself, and I'd like to share things with you too. Perhaps the heavens have given me courage because I managed to reach out and take his hand. And why don't you show me the locks you made when we're back in the palace? Louis looks at me gently and smiles. I'll be glad to. Ending heart to heart. Alright, then we finish that short mini chapter. I hope you have fun with me reading this stuff.